Hi, my name is Diana Juarez, and this is me and my group's presentation on ways to solve the issues at the Monticello Hotel. My group members are Kaja Brown, Riley Moon, and Reagan Wise. Sorry. The first issue that we noticed was the unmotivated staff. The staff lack enthusiasm in terms of their work at the hotel because they are underpaid. They're not receiving a substantial number of hours, nor are they getting paid for all the hours they're working. And lastly, they're severely understaffed. The first solution that we found was to pay the employees a livable wage for the number of hours they're putting into the restaurant. Philip, the owner of the Monticello Hotel at the time this episode was filmed, had thousands and thousands of dollars in luxury cars, gold, and diamond crusted jewelry. He should have taken the responsibility as the owner and given up on some of these material objects and put the money towards the hotel's budget in order to increase the pay the staff was receiving. The impacts we found to this were because the employees are making more money, they do not have the mindset of, I don't get paid enough for this, and are motivated to do a good job. Additionally, if they're offering more money starting off, they're more likely to attract more candidates, which makes the workload per individual less hefty. This could lead to an increase in room cost, which would need to be reflected in the quality of the room and service provided. Guests are not going to pay higher prices for a room if the quality of service remains the same. Solution two is that the increased management involvement with the daily operations would be in assisting the staff with day-to-day issues. A hotel can't be successful if the kitchen staff can't utilize fresh ingredients or work enough hours to prepare quality food. And it can't be successful if the front desk associate has to guide guests to a next door motel with nearly inhabitable rooms and no explanation as to why. The impacts of this we found is more management involvement shows the staff that management really does care about the business. If the manager does not care, then the staff is likely to adopt the same attitude because they are following by example. A negative impact to this is if the manager is a bully or negative overall, this can just dampen the attitude in the workplace even further, making it even less of a desirable place to work or stay. Can pick up on these types of things. If management is doing a poor job, guests can typically tell. Issue two that we found is reduced business clientele. The property has been neglected and rooms are not kept up with. And if there are not a substantial number of guests or suites for guests to stay in. Due to the Monticello's quality of suites and food service, younger generations of guests aren't willing to spend their money at this property. Revenue is plummeting, and owners are losing $400,000 every year as a result of this loss of clientele. A solution to this is to open up more rooms and suites in the hotel. They only have 4 suites in operation for guests to stay in. The other suites were kept as storage for the owner's personal belongings. They again need to take responsibility and find a different location for all their personal items and invest their money into opening and creating rooms that the staff is proud of and a room that guests feel confident with spending $250 a night on. Impacts are this will make the amount of rooms available to rent increase without increasing the number of rooms already physically in the hotel. This is a very easy way to increase profit. A negative impact is that staff will have more rooms to keep up with when they are already stretched thin, and the owners will have to find somewhere else to put their personal belongings. Another solution we found is that they could feed off the historicity of the hotel itself. It is obvious that the Monticello was a gem for Longview, Washington, and the residents of the town really cherish its importance. A way to hold true to the historical value is to always increase clientele and revenue would be to renovate the hotel and make it a more modern property, but include the historical furniture decor that speaks to the decades that the hotel has been open and utilize architecture that highlights the beauty of the hotel, all while not making it feel like they're staying in a hotel from 90 years ago. The impacts we find to this is this will rebrand the hotel while also attracting a new niche clientele that it was not attracting before. Negative impacts is that this will put the hotel out of service for an unknown amount of time while it being redone, which will place straining on the staff who depend on this job to live and pay their bills. Additionally, this will cost the owner a lot of money, and the room prices would likely increase after reopening, which the service would have to match. Issue three is poor management. As mentioned, Philip Lovingloss was severely lacking as a hotel owner. He was ripping off his staff, the guests, and himself in terms of suitable wages, living conditions, and accountability. Philip was too concerned with the number of cars he could obtain, how many carats of gold he could have on at once, or when his next drink could be. I understand it's difficult to have an addiction to alcohol and the hold it can have on a person. However, he had so much riding on him, and he had people who supported him and were depending on him to earn their livelihood. He should have gotten the help that he needed much sooner, but the fact that he was able to admit to his addiction and receive help at all was a step in the right direction that some people are unable to achieve. Solution one way to solve this issue was for Philip to receive treatment for his alcohol addiction. This this was something that was holding Philip back from his true potential as an owner and a person more importantly. The staff recognized that he was a good person, but and that he did have respect and passion for the hotel, but once he started drinking, he was a different person. When he started drinking, Philip would start to threaten closing the doors of the hotel, which would then force staff to worry if they're going to lose their jobs, and that's no way someone should work or live. Impacts is that will always there will most likely be a decrease in the amount of threatening he does, as well as the amount of money he takes, but everyone reacts differently to sobriety, and he could be worse. This is especially true with addictive personalities because they need a new thing to hyperfixate on, and it's not always for the better. But sometimes it is, there's no real way to know how it will turn out. Solution two is would be to either bring in an assistant manager that isn't involved with Philip or his significant other, who's also the general manager. Bringing in a separate manager would be a positive thing for Philip and the staff as it will bring a new pair of eyes and a new mindset, and also they can assist Philip in the overall operations of the hotel. The impacts of this is that this will be a great way to fix any glaring issues with the hotel and how it's operated. This could also be a good way to help motivate staff to do a better job. Negatively, if the manager was just as bad, if not worse than the owner, then the hotel will be in even worse shape. The selection of the new manager should be a very selective and thought out process. Another issue we found was low quality food. All the food coming in and out of the hotel was frozen or prepackaged in order to save on food costs as well as staffing. Fresh food takes more time to prepare and it does cost a bit more. One solution to this problem was to increase the kitchen staff's budget. This also stems from a stronger management staff and system. The employees need to be compensated for their work and also for the hours that come with preparing fresh and quality food. Positive impacts for this solution is that this will increase the kitchen staff's willingness to prepare quality food to serve for guests. If there are prepackaged food, guests can typically tell. Negative impacts for this solution is if they are compensated more, the actual food budget for supplies does not increase. There is not much the staff can do besides work with what they are provided. Another solution is to bring in a separate prep chef or sous chef or another executive chef that this would increase cost, but the higher quality food comes more guests and more revenue. Having someone that is solely responsible for ordering quality ingredients and creating a luxury menu that speaks to the history of the hotel would improve guest satisfaction, staff morale, and incoming profits. Positive impacts for this solution. This could turn into the hotel restaurant being open to the public, which would generate more income for the hotel while still having rooms available for booking. This is one way to directly increase the kitchen and restaurant budget. A negative impact for this solution is it would cost more money for a specialist and it would cause resentment to the already existing staff who are not paid enough for it as it is. Issue 5 is unsanitary rooms and poor furnishing. The rooms and the suites of the Monticello Hotel were less than subpar. They are nearly inhabitable with pre-owned furniture from Philip's personal properties and dirty appliances. Solution we found was Philip and his girlfriend need to understand the importance of the guest experience and knowing what comes from their personal luxuries and living styles. If sacrificing a Rolls Royce or two, or a diamond encrusted ring would increase the chances of the hotel maintaining legacy for years to come. That's what needs to happen. No guest that's paying $250 a night should be sleeping on a mattress from the owner's personal house that's covered in bodily fluids. The rooms and suites need to be revamped with fresh and clean furnishings and decor. This speaks back to modernizing and preserving the history of the hotel so they can cherish the story behind the hotel without feeling that they're living in a Motel 6 from decades ago. The impacts of this is having fresh new sheets, etc., would make the $250 a night more worth it. If a guest wanted to sleep on a dirty bed with bad food, they're going to stay at a hostel or even an Airbnb. Having bad old furniture while driving an extremely expensive car and having diamond encrusted jewelry shows clients where the money goes and making them not want to be a repeating customer. A negative impact is that once again increasing the cost of room per night. This refurnishing takes time so the staff could possibly be able to work for a short period of time. Or if the owner wants to cut costs for making up expense, then he might even fire some of their staff members. Solution two we found is hiring a new housekeeping crew. This is essentially crucial for any hotel that that wants to have satisfied customers. So many of the issues at the Monticello stemmed from the owner's lack of budgeting priorities. A housekeeping crew would ensure each room is being turned over efficiently and that guests are coming into a clean and welcoming room for their stay. Impacts of this is that would bring groups a fresh group of people who are not lacking motivation due to their time at a place that they don't like. It could have a similar effect as in bringing a new assistant manager if that if it would be of the freshness at the to the place of the terms of management and back a house. The selection process of the new housekeeping would need to be thorough, otherwise they may end up with a similar situation to what they are in now. As always, this could increase the price of rooms because the owner is having to pay for a whole new crew. And that is our presentation.